Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Friday night football under what can only be described as monumentally sad circumstances. It has been a day which we are unlikely to experience again soon. A wife has lost a husband, a daughter and a son, a father, and football has lost a man that has touched a lot of clubs and, in fact, a lot of us here in the room. Welcome to you all. It is a build-up, Wayne and Cameron and Den, like very few others before. We've been out onto the ground. There's an eerie silence around the place, and it's a sombre day, and it's hard really to comprehend the incomprehensible.
Well, it is. It's just been such a sad day, and we've all been shocked by it. And even just standing around before we come on air tonight, just talking about it and how those Adelaide players, how his family, how those closest to him must be feeling. It's been a tough day for all of those people who knew him so well.
Can I ask you, Den, where were you when you found out the news this morning?
I just got up, actually, in Perth. I was walking into the kitchen, and it's one of those where was I moments, isn't it? We'll all remember this. It's unprecedented, really, in terms of AFL football or football in general. Nothing matches it. A coach dies like this. I mean, it's quite remarkable, and he touched a lot of people. You mentioned 4 clubs. It really filters out across the league, doesn't it, those tentacles?
And I was on radio, Hamish, and it was just one of disbelief. In actual fact, when I got told, I went numb and thought that I must have been hearing things. It was a feeling that I've never had before.
I read an article today which I think really resonated, and we often hear about people being murdered. We hear about people passing, and they don't have the same effect when you haven't met them. But today I think a lot of people have been affected even though they haven't met Phil Walsh, and it resonates again how tight the football community is. Because you follow football, you know who Phil Walsh is, you think you know him, and when he disappears, you've lost someone you've become close to. That's how tight this family is.
And Den mentioned the number of people that he touched throughout his footballing life, and you mentioned the football community being so tight. He coached, he was a fitness coordinator at Geelong, he obviously played as well and built those bonds as teammates do. Across so many clubs. So many people did know him and had a close relationship with him, and they are the ones that would just be absolutely shocked, and obviously his family and close friends as well. A tough day for those people.
Absolutely. Let's not forget, at the heart of all of this, it is a family tragedy in all respects.
Yep.
That family is decimated.
A wife has to deal with the unthinkable. The son has been charged. She has lost a husband. The daughter, Quinn, has been overseas, is flying back with the knowledge that she has no father anymore. I mean, you can't imagine Meredith Walsh's mental state, position, what she now has to deal with.
I can't.
And it's hard to even think about, to be honest, Hamish.
It's one of disbelief, I think, for most of us. We've seen a few of the coaches tonight, and Bucks was interesting. He said, I couldn't wait to get to the ground because I felt so helpless at home.
Well, and it's almost within this sanctuary of a footy game environment. Obviously that Phil Walsh loved being part of that environment, that all of us who love and have been a part of footy feel more comfortable in that environment. You're closer to, Nathan Buckley saying that, closer to his team that he's with. You can share that grief together. And Phil Walsh, he was a passionate footy person. He loved his football. He loved the players and helping them. And we've seen so many of those players sending out tweets and heartfelt messages to Phil, to his family. And obviously he loved being a coach to those players too, and really helping them on their footy journey.
Yep. Got to say too, Haim, when you get to my age, you can see these men as young men. I can see him in my mind's eye playing football. I saw Phil Walsh. He was a very good footballer back in the day. But of course, that's just part of the deal. It's the passing parade, isn't it? But what happened suddenly puts a finality to that, which is hard to comprehend for a bloke like me. I remember them as a young footballer.
Yeah, well, 55
Too young.
today. Yeah. We read an article, Duck, about how he was trying to reconnect with his family because football has a habit of consuming you. And we read the same article and it really resonated.
Oh, absolutely. And to be honest with you, I don't want to go to where the people that are really close with Phil, because I know how it's affected me, and I'm a guy that's met him on a few occasions, just like the rest of us. And you know, you go through the waves of emotion, so I can just imagine the people that are really close and what they're going through right now, the players of the Adelaide Crows or the other players of the other clubs that he coached. I just don't want to go there.
He said that he had the best day of his life. Not so long ago, he taught his daughter to surf Quinn, and he took his son, Si, with him, and they stopped at the Middleton Bakery, which if you've spent any time in Adelaide, you know well, and they laughed for the morning, and it is all finished today at around 2 a.m. The AFL, they had some big decisions to make. Let's hear from the AFL CEO, Gillon McLachlan.
Thank you all for coming today. Our game is in mourning today, and I speak for the whole of the AFL, our clubs, our players and our staff in passing our deepest sympathies to Phil Walsh's family and friends. The sorrow and distress felt today touches many in our industry, because Phil Walsh gave such a lot to our game. Phil made his debut in 1983, playing for the Collingwood Football Club. He played then for Richmond and for the Brisbane Bears. In different roles, he coached Geelong, Port Adelaide and West Coast. And of course, he was the Adelaide Crows senior coach. He was a man of boundless energy, enthusiasm and great intelligence. He was part of the AFL family for 32 years. And there are not many words of comfort today for those who feel this terrible loss in these most difficult of circumstances. To his family, we can only say that your loved father and husband is in all our hearts, and whatever support we can offer, we will. To the Adelaide Football Club, the AFL industry is with you, in thoughts and in action today, offering all the support we can. Today, I've spoken with many people in the industry, briefed all our club CEOs and presidents and the AFL Commission. There have been discussions about the game on Sunday and even about the round. We have decided that the game on Sunday between Adelaide and Geelong will not go ahead. This is a decision of the competition as a remark of respect to Phil Walsh. And it is our decision because while playing footy can be part of the grieving process, we are strongly of the view that it is not fair to ask the young men at the Adelaide Crows or the Geelong Cats to play in these circumstances. This decision has the support of the clubs and of the Players Association. The premiership points will be split between the two clubs as per the AFL rules. We know that this decision impacts on a lot of people, including supporters and fans, including those who may have travelled or intend to travel. We are working closely with all of our partners on these issues, and the AFL and club websites will keep members and supporters updated on arrangements. The remaining 7 games will go ahead from tonight. We know that the usual fun and passion of our game will not be there. We also know that our clubs, members and supporters will gather in a spirit of respectful mourning in support for the family and friends of a great football man who is loved by so many. I want to finish by again offering the deepest sympathy to the Walsh family. The thoughts of the whole football family are with you today and in the difficult days ahead. Thank you.
And they will be difficult days ahead. So the Adelaide Crows lose a coach. Number 41 was the Guernsey he wore at Collingwood. He played 22 games for Collingwood. Richmond, 40 games over 3 years. Brisbane, 60 games over 4 years. And he won the best and fairest for the Brisbane Bears in their inaugural year. And in Kevin Bartlett's 400th, he kicked the goal of the year. But it was a landmark day today. There's no roadmap for a decision like today. There's no planning you can do. But I think, on balance, it was a pretty good decision. The players were split. Some were keen to play, from what I can understand, and some said there's no possible way they could play. And there were some that were wanting the whole round to be cancelled. Dan, what's your view on how the round will play out?
It's a very lateral decision. At first I was a little surprised, but it became, through no fault of its own, a unique game. And I think the AFL came up with a unique decision I don't think Adelaide could have played on Sunday. That would have been grossly unfair. This is probably the next best step. Logistically, it would have become a nightmare for them, and still a lot of repercussions, I think, to be discussed over this decision, but in essence, I like it.
Oh, it's the right decision for me to ask those Adelaide players to play, and the one, as you said, some might have wanted to play, but those who didn't, it's just too much, too soon to ask them to play. I think they've made the right call there.
Absolutely. You said it before, Nathan Buckley, and even your brother Gil said it there, that footy can be escape, but far too soon for mine. And footy right now is secondary to all of those players.
Just on a side note, the CEO of the AFL said that he called Geelong, and Geelong said, whatever it is you want us to do, 0 points, 2 points, 4 points, you tell us what it is, and that's fine. So well done to the Geelong Football Club. The chairman and the CEO of the Adelaide Football Club also faced up today, Rob Chapman and Andrew Fagan.
Look, today, frankly, has been all about and is going to be all about wrapping our arms around the Adelaide Football Club community. In particular, Meredith, Phil's wife, and his family. To the extended Phil family, the players, coaches, staff, and indeed the fans and members, sponsors, supporters. This is just making sure that we've got all of the right infrastructure around in terms of providing the necessary support that they're all going to need. They do need, and won't stop today, Fags. We'll do that today, and we'll do it tomorrow, and we'll do it for however long it takes. And I'd even extend that to some of you that know Phil. It's been a long day. Andrew and I have been here since just after 4 this morning, and we've had a series of meetings, naturally with staff, with players, starting with the leadership group very early this morning, the assistant coaches and support staff, and it's devastating. As I said, it's all about wrapping our arms around all of these guys, all the people in our footy community, and offering them all the support that we can provide. I got a phone call at 3:30 a.m. From the police to say that a tragedy had unfolded, and that involved Phil Walsh, our coach. That's a phone call no one ever wants to get. I rang Andrew together with David Noble in Shuttleworth. The 4 of us met down here at the club, as I said, just after 4, and then progressively we involved other members of the footy club, and you know, you've got to get straight into crisis management, and this is a crisis unprecedented. There's no rule book, and we're dealing with it.
So we've had several meetings today with the playing group. A couple of hours ago, you know, we spoke to them about the match on Sunday, and you know, I think it'd be unfair and inappropriate to ask them to play, and not just our club. It'd be, I think, unfair on the Geelong Football Club as well, and you know, that position was certainly shared by the playing group. Was communicated back to the AFL, and we're very supportive of the stance that they've taken.
You know, it's a message I might land. Just, you know, make sure, you know, you ask each other how you're going at the end of the day, and you know, whether you're a player, coach, fan, father, mother, just talk to people. It's an amazing industry, Andrew. Just the support that has been offered to us this morning from the AFL, Coaches Association, Players Association, you know, far and wide. It's humbling.
You do realise how significant last night's events were when you hear that the BBC and all through the United States had been reporting what had occurred. I mean, it's never been seen before, Dan, and unlikely to be seen again.
Huge job for the Adelaide Football Club too, because you've got to bear in mind a lot of these players are very young. In some cases, it's their first brush with death. And I think that is a responsibility that Adelaide will find very heavy on their shoulders, but hopefully it all goes well.
And as young players coming to it, especially if you've moved interstate to Adelaide, your senior coach, your football club becomes everything, but your senior coach really does become that father figure to you. It's the one you crave learning from them, you crave that relationship with them, and as you said, Dennis, for those who haven't experienced anything like this, and so many wouldn't have, it's a big thing for those young men to have to deal with.
To your point, Lingy, I mean, these young guys have... Jake Kelly's a great example. He doesn't have a father in South Australia. Craig lives over here, so Phil becomes the de facto father.
Yeah, of course.
And as a result, he's effectively in turn lost a de facto father, and to ask anyone to play within 48 hours would be unreasonable. So,
and the terrible thing about this too, we all know footy clubs are supposed to be fun places, aren't they?
Yeah.
And suddenly this is anything but. So a football club has been turned on its head as well. Footy clubs have got a veneer of keeping up this barrier to the public, but really inside is the most fun you can have, isn't it? And suddenly they've flicked the switch.
yeah. Mark Soderstrom is 7 News' man on the ground. Soders, we welcome you in to Friday night football. We understand, we think, what happened last night. Tell us, Soders, what has happened throughout the day at the football club and then across the city of Adelaide?
Well, Hamish, look, it's been a really surreal day, very unique situation. Started all really early, as you heard Rob Chapman say just before 3:30. He got the call from the Assistant Police Commissioner. As the days unfolded, of course, the players have spent the majority of the morning here receiving that grief counselling, and even now at headquarters here at West Lakes, there are Rangers supporters continuing to roll up now and placing floral tributes behind me, as you can see. Look, although it is such a unique situation, this club isn't strangers to tragedy, really. You think the Dean Bailey situation was not that long ago, and Phil Walsh, of course, he's 30 plus years in the industry. He's gone across 7 clubs. One of those clubs is the Port Adelaide Football Club. They, of course, were involved with Dean Bailey too, and the John McCarthy incident a couple of years ago too in Las Vegas. So although it is such a really an unusual situation, both of the clubs here in this town have been affected by similar sorts of situations. So pretty quickly, Port Adelaide Footy Club, through their CEO Keith Thomas, put their hand up and contacted Andrew Fagan and said, we're here to support you as much as we can. Of course, there is a showdown here on Sunday fortnight. Now, that may be a little bit too soon perhaps to put a fitting tribute to Phil, but that certainly will be in consideration over the next couple of days. I know both the Crows and Geelong considered their options. Hamish, you mentioned before, Geelong were fantastic. They said, look, we'll do whatever it takes. The Crows players were asked if they did want to play. There's an SANFL game involving the younger Crows tomorrow against South Adelaide. That was pretty quickly postponed. That'll take place later in the year. But the players, I think we said, it was pretty unfair for them to even consider fronting up. Everyone deals with their grief differently, as we've seen the public here, and the way that this whole situation has transcended just the football world and gone right across the city. But everyone deals with that grief differently, and I think it is without doubt the right decision that the players don't have to front up in the SANFL on Saturday or the AFL on the Sunday.
Thanks, Soders, for your time. I think Soders summed it up pretty neatly, but it's hard to imagine a club having to deal with so much. John McCarthy, Dean Bailey and Phil Walsh all within 2012, 14 and 15, within 3 years.
The state of Adelaide, throw in Phil Hughes as well, all from Adelaide people, great Adelaide people, and part of the fabric of Adelaide and the football clubs and the sporting world within Adelaide.
All that before a game tonight here at the MCG. It's going to be an interesting affair. As we said, Nathan Buckley arrived and he was keen to get here because he felt helpless at home. Sirioli returns. And the Hawks, they've got their own battles then. Jared Roughhead, he'll be watching on tonight. It's been a tough week for the Hawthorn Footy Club as well.
Yeah, saw him last week. He was terrific. Our thoughts go out to him too.
Friday night footy, Collingwood and Hawthorn at the MCG.
Yeah, massive game tonight at the MCG as both of these sides battle for a spot in the top 4. The Hawks, they are gunning for 5 in a row. They're short price favourites here. The Pies are outsiders and will be keen to atone for last week's narrow loss to the Dockers. For every match in July, back a team to win with CrownBet. If they score 80 points or more, then lose. We'll refund your bet as a bonus bet up to $100. For details and for all your AFL markets, head to crownbet.com.au or download the app today.
We've saved the toughest gardens for last. In the fight to make the semi-finals, they'll deliver the best garden reveals this competition has ever produced.
How did two people get so lucky?
The House Rules Finals, Sunday, 7 o'clock.
So, do we or don't we?
It's a great business you have here. What's your secret?
La nave nel porto è al sicuro, ma non è per questo che è stata costruita.
He said a ship in the harbour is safe, but that's not what ships are built for.
At NAB, we back businesses that back themselves. That's why we're committed to lending $1 billion a month. More yes for business, less missed opportunities. Call 13 10 12. NAB.
Come fly with me, let's fly away. Come fly with me, let's fly, let's fly. Pack up, let's fly away.
Bit of shock, I think, at the start. So as soon as it happened, I knew it was really serious. I knew that it was going to be something that's going to be with me for a long time, and thought, I need to get some legal advice. They were really comforting and gave me a lot of avenues that I could take to help me with the process. You can sort things out. You just need to do it the right way, and you just need the right people by your side.
Time is the overseer of all things. It sees men plan their dreams, sees them build their kingdoms. It sees them become legendary. Will you build an empire that lasts forever? Game of War. Play for free now from the App Store.
Woolies Big Night In is on, and it's better than ever. Win one of 10 ultimate sports holidays, like the surfing in Hawaii, the gridiron in San Fran, the racing in Monaco, tennis in England, or Rio. Simply buy 3 eligible products for your chance to win big. Win a new trip each week. Good luck. Big Night In, only at Woolworths.
This month, CrownBet's giving you a $100 bonus offer on all games with our AFL Head-to-Head July special. Place a head-to-head bet on any AFL match in July, and if your team score 80 points or more but lose, you'll get a match bonus bet up to $100. That's right, every round, every match. You can get straight back in the game with CrownBet's AFL Head-to-Head July special. Join today at crownbet.com.au. CrownBet, the game just changed.
Seven's coverage of the Toyota AFL Premiership season is brought to you by the new look Corolla hatch. It'll love you no matter what. Virgin Australia, stylish from the ground up. Harvey Norman, shop with confidence, online, mobile, in-store. And the Amy Access app. If you can't watch it on TV, catch every game live on your mobile or tablet with an AFL Live Pass. Get a 2-week free trial now at afl.com.au/live pass.
Welcome back to the Telstra Friday Night Countdown, the day where we've witnessed a senseless loss of life. And Brian Taylor, a former teammate of Phil Walsh's, joins us now. And BT, thanks for jumping out of the radio box and coming over. We left each other last night and we were thinking that Port Adelaide would be concerned with their season. They wake up this morning and their win-loss record is the furthest thing from their mind. Yeah. Great sense of perspective. Can I ask you, your last year at Richmond was Phil's first at Richmond. Tell us about the teammate and the player.
Look, I'd been there for a couple of years. Phil was involved in that war between Richmond and Collingwood in the trading that was going on. He came across from Collingwood with John Annear. He was the best first-year player in the year that he left Collingwood to join Richmond. He was a great wingman, left footer, fast. He was full of confidence. Look, he'd just come off winning that best first-year player. And even now, when you look at Phil Walsh, Walsh and he talks coaching, and Wayne, you would have experienced this. He's just so full of confidence in what he says because he really believes in what he says is right.
And you can see the way he played footy. He took the game on, didn't he?
Yeah.
And was very good on his opposite side, BT.
Yeah, well, on the left side.
And the right side.
Oh, yeah, he was good on there.
Goal on the right
but he was a very, very good player, mate.
Was he a true footy man then too? Just lived and breathed football?
Consumed it. Could not get enough of footy back in those days. And I wouldn't say you could always tell he was going to be a coach in those days, but he was certainly going to consume as much football as he could possibly get.
When you heard the news today, it was when you'd landed in Melbourne from Sydney. Yeah. How did it leave you feeling throughout the day?
Well, left at 7 o'clock, Sydney, arrived in Melbourne, land on the tarmac, get all these texts, can't believe it. And I, still couldn't absolutely believe what was going on. Like the players here tonight at this ground, I've come here expecting and thinking, I'm not sure whether I can work. Imagine those guys out there must be feeling the same. Imagine those a bit closer to it with Adelaide and Port Adelaide, what they'd be thinking.
Yeah. Thanks for coming in. I know you've got to get back to the radio.
Well done.
Have a good call, guys. From everyone at Channel 7 and the broader football community to Phil Walsh, rest in peace.
Seven's coverage of the Toyota AFL Premiership season is brought to you by the new look Corolla hatch. It'll love you no matter what. Virgin Australia, stylish from the ground up. Harvey Norman, shop with confidence, online, mobile, in-store. And the Amy Access app.
It's the most dangerous sport on the planet. The bull rider from down under showing the world how it's done. And the Aussie cowgirl breeding the craziest bull the world's ever seen.
He could be famous.
On 7 Sunday night.
Neil, you're not that high.
Pretty high.
No, it's not, Neil.
It is.
The cat did it.
That's true.
Mate, stay calm. We do this all the time.
Okay, I'm going to do it.
You'll be fine.
Sometimes only a real person will understand.
Hello, Amy. Hi. I've been in a bit of an accident.
Do you need any emergency services?
No, I think we've got that covered.
Luckily, you can speak to someone at Amy 24/7.
If you love street food flavour, get a load of this. Succulent slow roast pulled beef and zesty chimichurri drizzle. Introducing the fully loaded Argentinian pulled beef pizza. Just $7.95 from Domino's.
Nobody likes you. Nobody wants you here. Go and give it to him. You're gonna cry. Go on, cry. Cry, 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 cry. Stop it.
Live sports coverage from the channels of 7, now available on your mobile. Don't miss the excitement of Wimbledon and the Davis Cup with 7's 40 Days of Sport. Live and free on your mobile and online. Download the 7 Tennis app now.
Unbeatable endurance, uncompromising reliability, and the ability to handle all kinds of punishment. It's everything the unbreakable driver needs. The Hilux SR5 manual from $47,990 drive away. Now you can have your pie and eat it, if it's not too hot for you, princess.
Endurance is critical for our game. Explosive energy, mental strength, precision. They give us the winning edge, again and again.
Swiss Men's Ultivite, a premium quality formula with ingredients based on scientific evidence.
I'm a champion.
Helps maintain energy levels, improve mental alertness, and relieve fatigue. Australia's #1 multivitamin range.
I'm a champion. That's why we choose Swiss.
The choice of the Hawks.
Fire up for 2 big movies on Mate.
First, can't get enough of the minions? Then catch more of them. In Despicable Me 2. Then, he's back.
You must live.
In the non-stop action blockbuster Terminator 3.
Wasn't expecting that. Or was I?
Double feature Sunday on Mate.
The following program